I want to point something out that I missed the other day on the William McNeil traffic stop in the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, and it got a lot closer to William McNeil actually dying than we think at the hands of the police. And that's not sensationalism. I'm going to show you something that I completely missed the other day, but I want to point something up. I think this William McNeil traffic stop needs to be studied more than any other traffic stop, probably in the last 10 years. And this needs to change the way that policing is done. And it's not something I'm comfortable with at all. I'm Dominick Izzo. If you're new to the channel, I am a retired police officer from the northwest suburbs of the Chicago area. I was in law enforcement from 2001 until 2019. I am a former defensive tactics trainer. I am a defensive tactics expert and a use of force instructor. Moving forward, I don't like the stop whatsoever, and I'll get this out of the way because this is such a polarized stop to begin with. The traffic stop was lawful. It was an utter load of garbage with the probable cause. If it went completely as expected, if we will, and McNeil handed over driver's license, insurance, if they need registration in Florida, I don't know, and a ticket was written, that ticket would have been thrown out and laughed out of court. That's how it would have ended up. No headlights activated for inclement weather in Florida. It was the weakest probable cause I've ever seen in a traffic stop. All the way up to the breaking of the window, that was lawful. The force that was used, if you watch the other videos that I've done, and I'll put them in the description the description section of this video. I don't like, from McNeil's perspective, I don't like the use of force that was used to remove him from the vehicle. He is what we call a passive resistor. He was not putting up a fight. And then from both the body camera footage and McNeil's footage, we see he received a total of 8 strikes about the head and body, and you got the infamous stop fighting, stop resisting. And he wasn't resisting in any way that would warrant that type of use of force. That use of force was completely unwarranted, excessive, and action needs to be taken. Now, here's the problem that no one is addressing. I'm 50 years old. I was born in 1975 to Italian-American parents. My father never laid a hand on us, but my mother beat the shit out of us. It was do as I say, never question me because I said so. It was extremely classically conditioned. You didn't do something, you caught a beating. It was insane. And that's how we learned. It was classical conditioning to the highest level of degree. As time has gone on, we've seen that in the late 90s, early 2000s, we have a participation award level of children that was raised. The state got involved with many of your kids. Many of you who do discipline, and I'm very a big proponent of physical discipline on your children. Not excessive, but it is classical conditioning, because you can't reason with a 4-year-old why not to touch the stove, because they will burn themselves. You need to give them a little bit of a state change and have them hate you for whatever reason, but they will not get hurt. We remove that from your homes. The state got involved. You're in a restaurant with your kid. Your 5-6-year-old is picking up silverware, throwing it at the table next to you. So you slap their hands or give them a little biff, and what happens? Nosy Karen across the table calls 911, and you as the parent get arrested. The state has done this to you. I saw firsthand countless times. In Illinois, DCFS, Department of Child Family Services, has sat there and ruined you as parents. They've arrested so many of you, put cases on you for the minorest of discipline that is necessary to have your kids functioning properly in society. And we see what has happened. That raised a bunch of parents to go through life with timeouts, trying to explain little Johnny, who doesn't understand anything, reasoning and rationale. And we've seen the studies, right? The human brain doesn't develop fully until they're 25. A person's 25 years old, but we want 21-year-olds as cops. We've seen studies of what the food does and how bad now sugar, all the processed food, is destroying the human brain. We've seen that the studies show that in the year early 1900s, 1904, I believe the average person consumed 2 pounds of sugar per year. And it exceeds almost 200 pounds of sugar per year. There's a reason why I'm correlating all of this and why this truly needs to affect the way that we police. When I was a kid, you never argued with your teachers. Granted, I went to a Catholic grammar school, never argued with the nuns. Nuns never touched us, but that's a different story. When I went to a public high school, it was a culture shock for me, right? Because you had kids that were arguing at teachers, kids that were ditching class, but still, for the most part, we never attacked our teachers. We never fought against them. We never argued with them. The teachers had the rule. And when you went to go get a job after you graduated, or after, when it was a summertime for me and I wasn't doing any wrestling, the boss was the god of the store. I was in fast food. I was in retail. And if a boss said something, you did it. You never argued with them. But a lot of you see exactly where society is now, right? That whole participation award generation has grown into kids that question you, argue with you, and they don't respect authority, right? Now, keep that in mind. I went to FTO school, Field Training Officer School, in February of 2015. And the first words out of the instructor's mouth in the entire class, there's probably 40 of us, and the instructor said, "Get rid of your vocabulary, from your vocabulary, because I said so." We're like, what? And he explained, it doesn't matter if you're in a gunfight and you tell your rookie, "Get behind the effing engine block for cover." If the rookie goes, "Why?" Be expected to get a memo to see the chief in the office the next day when the rookie says, "Officer Izzo was mean to me and yelled at me and didn't explain why I had to do something." That generation is now becoming cops. That generation is now, you have to explain to them, "I need you to write the report this way with the evidence and the order we got it and this and that, how you logged evidence, how you cataloged it. You're going to seal the evidence in a bag, put your initials across the tape for the integrity so it's not." Why? Because I said so. You can't say that. "Clean your pistol this way. You're going to disengage this and that and blah, blah, blah. You're going to take it apart, disassemble it, and then you're going to clean it, put it back." Why? Because I said so. I want you to come to the shift tomorrow knowing what the First Amendment is, be able to give me the tenets of the First and Fourth Amendments. Why? Because you cannot say "because I said so." The police officer that we hire on the street right now, they have to have all the information that they are satisfied with before they progress to a next step and being able to do their job. Now, that's fundamentally dangerous, but it also puts people, you would think this puts people into a position of having more intelligent cops on the street. It actually doesn't. It actually puts more people who are more dangerous on a level that you parents never thought you would create on the street. We have the most dangerous men and women in uniform on the street who are getting back at society in a way nobody's looking at. Now, among that same generation are people who drive cars, are citizens. They didn't go the same route as it went to by becoming police officers. They have their own jobs. They have their own whatever. If you look at what we're talking about in this stop with McNeil, the phenomenon lately in America is for people to get pulled over, question the police, and say, "Give me a supervisor." We do not educate our youth. We don't tell our youth in a civics class in high school, "Hey, when you get your driver's license, just to let you know, you are not lawful. You're not legally. You have no constitutional right to say, 'Hey, I want a supervisor.'" We know that a cop can pull you over, never tell you why, and conduct their stop and their investigation. They don't have to tell you anything. But we don't tell these people. We keep the public insanely ignorant, and we expect them to know that when a cop says jump, you're supposed to jump, right? We have those two factions, if you will. We have the citizens and the cops who have both grown up in a world where they're allowed to question whatever they want, but it's the cop now who has the ultimate ego position to say, "Jump." Why? Because I said so. And if you can't see the problem with this power addiction in America right now that we have given our police, no one is talking about this. No one is talking about this. So I'm going to defend McNeil because he grew up in a time where teachers, if he, not saying he did, but his generation, they argued with the teachers. Teachers were right. What did parents do? They went down, talked to the principal and said, "I want that teacher fired." A lot of times that has happened. Bosses, someone in McNeil's generation showed up to work 10, 15 times late and they lost their job. Parents called, complained to corporate, boss got fired. So-and-so got their job back. But now all of a sudden, that generation that has been coddled, timeouts, no physical discipline, being able to argue with mom since they were 4 years old and get away with it. Dad was never allowed to properly discipline in the household and instill Instill into that child, no, this is what authority is, and these are times you need to submit to it, regardless of the bullshit laws that our government creates. That's a whole nother conversation. We now put these kids, they're adults still, they're kids compared to me, in a position where they get pulled over, and now you didn't, as a parent, you didn't tell them because I said so. As a teacher, you didn't tell them because I said so. As an employer, you didn't say because I said so. You depending upon which side of the political aisle you're on, you didn't say because I said so. But now, their entire whole lives have been, I have a problem, you're going to explain it to me till I'm damn good and ready. But now, when a cop says, get out of the car, why? You expect that kid to jump out of the car just like that. We have set these people up for failure. We have set them up for failure. We need to acknowledge that. And the government, the same government that creates the bullshit laws like driving without your headlights in inclement weather, now, who has said for cops over the years, you can walk right up to the car. I never had to. Never had to. I can walk up to the car, license, insurance. If it's a stop where I feel that it's reasonable to rip somebody in the car, like we saw that insanely inept Arkansas state trooper pull somebody over for speeding, she just walked right out of the car, tries to rip him right out. It's lawful. As miserable and ridiculous as she did a job, that's still lawful. Well, now, if we're going to do this, if we're going to expect our citizens to comply with lawful orders, they need to know what they're complying to. They need to. You've seen the breakdowns on the McNeil. He just wanted an answer. And the pro-law enforcement side, which sadly, I said this on a podcast on our live show on Wednesday, the pro-police crowd, they are not the patriots. And I've seen it. I've seen it. I fought tooth and nail to oppose the All Cops Are Bastards crew, the defund the police movement. And as time has gone on, my eyes have opened up and I've seen the All Cops Are Bastard crew and the defund the police movement. They're not anti-police. They're anti-tyranny. They don't want cops gone simply to cause more chaos and lawlessness. They want cops gone because the system of law enforcement is broken and they're patriots who want the system to go the right way according to the Constitution. When it comes to the back the blue crowd, they just want to back the police. They don't back the Constitution. They're pro-police. They're not pro-Constitution. This is something that I'm embarrassed to say. I can't believe that I've been shamed to acknowledging this, and we have to change this. As we move forward, the law needs to be studied and possibly changed so that if you're going to if you're not going to teach in driver's ed how to deal with the police, if you're not going to teach the law in civics class in high school, then we need to change the law that cops must identify why and answer every question possible on a traffic stop for a citizen. If a traffic stop now takes an hour to do, maybe we'll have less bullshit, frivolous tickets on the road, which in my views are unconstitutional, violation of excessive fines, and maybe we'll have better policing. This is what needs to be done. But I didn't notice this the other day. We need to take a look at something. This is from the responding backup officer. This is Officer Miller's body camera. Now, I don't want to go back and play it, but if you watch the initial, I think it was Bowman, I'm not sure what it was, the initial officer who stopped Mr. McNeil, at one point, he requested the backup squad to come and block off. Now, I understand a lot of you are pro-police, and you can't see past the point of supporting your police so blindly that you think that they could do no wrong. So you're fine with them blocking him in for not having his headlights on. You're fine with the non-conversation, ripping him out of the car because, of course, you say, fuck around, find out, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. You can't see the danger of this yet because your blind allegiance is to the police, not to the Constitution. We could play what if all day long, right? Well, what if he took off? I don't fucking care. You ran the plate. You can identify the car. Do your follow-up investigation later on. It wasn't any type of crime that required any exigency. And for those of you who out there who are arguing with me, where I had said in a post the other day that the state laws come up with the vehicle code, moving violations and equipment violations, and what they say to prevent accidents. That is the primary reason. The primary reason that the IVC in Illinois or vehicle code in any state was incepted was anything that the driver could do as far as a moving violation could cause an accident. And certain equipment violations, like a completely shattered windshield, maybe a tire that's way too low with no pressure in it, though, or a brake lights that are out, those can cause accidents. If the state truly cared about the safety of the driver, then every single traffic stop, if its sole purpose is to prevent motor vehicle accidents, then traffic stops need to be like this. Hi, I'm Officer Izzo with ABC Police Department. The reason I stopped you today is your headlights are not on during inclement weather. Do me a favor. I need you to turn them on to avoid an accident. Have a great day. And you go back to your car. There would be zero reason to identify the driver if that was the state's concern. So many people in my Instagram and my Facebook are losing their mind over my suggestion on that. And they all revert back to pretextual stops, right? Well, I've gotten drugs off of this. Or what about the Oklahoma building bomber? Was Timothy McVeigh was pulled over for a traffic stop. I've gotten kidnappers and robbers and rapists and people with warrants. I never said it was bad. I just said don't lie to people. Say that yes, we are using the context of traffic laws to stop you for a reason to search your car for drugs, which is ridiculous, for weapons, for bombs, for kidnappers, for robbers, for rapists, for bad guys. Have the balls to say that. We are using the law against you. I'm fine with that. Say that. Say that. As we're moving forward with this, and all these pieces start getting put together, right? Think about the quality of police officer we have on the street right now. Out of shape. We know that their mental mindset is wrong. I don't think we should have 21-year-olds or anybody who's under 30 on the street. But the perception of the cop dictates the element of the threat. I've talked about the 30-30 agenda and the lie that females use less excessive force than males do. That's a lie. A female by physical virtue is always going to use less force than a male, so she is deemed non-excessive. You look at fat cops, out-of-shape cops, the point that they have lowered the fitness standard for police officers to get in. That's all going to raise the threat that the threat of violence that they're using on you, the citizen, and it's going to be deemed justified. You're going to see a lot more citizens killed in the next 5 years because they could qualify it by objectively reasonableness, because you're changing the landscape of cops on the road. You're getting rid of all the guys who are my age and you're replacing them with TikTok cops who have no idea how to use their hands. They all go to the taser, which is the worst tool on the planet. They all go to their pistols, and we allow this. Back to blue. Back to blue. During this stop, we hear this officer is frustrated. And if we go through the steps, yeah, McNeil is lawfully allowed, is supposed to, because it's probable cause. Let's say I agree with it, which I don't, but it's on the books. Fine. Get that law changed. Hand over your driver's license and insurance. Okay. End of story. Period. But the reason that McNeil got pulled out of the car was the cop's pride. That's it. There's no other reason. Use of force was used on him because of the emotional cop's pride. You hear me say it all the time. Why I think that cops are better than other human beings on the planet is those who are able to sit there and go, my pride doesn't matter. I need to do my job to where I swore the oath. And if that means I need to explain for 20 minutes why I stopped this man and why I can't get a supervisor, then I will take the necessary time because I get paid by the hour. That's it. So as we move forward, backup officer blocks McNeil in. Again, because McNeil shut the door. And the way I played this on the video on the body camera footage, the primary officer said driver refused to exit the vehicle. They toned out the call. They held the air for him. That became a high priority, and 5 squads came up, lights and sirens. We saw this, making it as if he had just robbed a bank or if he had taken a blowtorch to a daycare center. That's how they treated him, and that's how, through the eyes of the police officers, they saw McNeil as such a threat. We also saw they lied about him having a large knife. And people like Officer Brandon Tatum, who is probably one of the most disgusting representatives of law enforcement today, simply got his position because of the color of his skin and aligning with conservative values, perpetuated that lie. He had drugs. He had a knife. He had a baggie of weed in his pocket, and he had a knife on the floorboard of his car. I carry a knife in my pocket everywhere I go, as do most Americans, and last time I checked, that's not illegal. But it's how we all spin things. It's how we criminalize people to get our side of the narrative the way that we want it. None of those things were known to the cops at the time. I show how at the 49-second mark, they bust the window. 49 seconds later, oh, he has a knife. He was already out of the car by there. No, excuse me, that's a lie. There's a knife on the floor. I want you to keep in mind how facts and creative writing, and if McNeil's camera, or if we look at this, if the cops did not have body camera like Grady Judd's agency in Polk County, Florida doesn't have, how easy is it to murder someone, the police murder someone, and manipulate the facts as you need? If this was Grady Judd's county, they could have shot and killed McNeil without any problem whatsoever, taken a photograph of that knife on the floor and say he was reaching for it. No one would know. No one would know, and you'd get an army of people who all sucked the cop cock in Florida saying, well done, police. I want to show you this because I didn't see this. We know that McNeil was just asking questions. And again, in my day, whatever. We would have taken the time going, hey, dude, listen, it's a fucking ridiculous non-issue, but it's my job, and I have all the authority to rip you out of the car. Would you do me a favor and just give me your license? And wait, and I would have taken it a step further. Do you have drugs in the car? I don't give a shit. If it's nothing, I'll throw it in the sewer. Are you driving on a suspended license? Which everybody looked at. It's not that hard to drive on a suspended driver's license with the way the state works now. You get 3 citations. You can't pay an exorbitant amount of fee, or maybe he had his name attached to a vehicle that had emissions failure. There is a litany of reasons why this man's license could have been suspended. And some of you know how difficult the courts make it to get back, but you still need to operate throughout your day. You still need to go to work. You still need to pay for your food, pay for your mortgage. The state makes it impossible for some of you to live your fucking lives. So he's being treated like a criminal, when all it takes is 5 minutes worth of conversation and a little bit of threatening, going, dude, give my partner's an asshole. Give him your license or we're going to rip you out of the car. You can talk to somebody the way they need to get the job done. It's sales. This is why we need more car salesmen as cops, bartenders, restaurant employees, and people in retail. We need people in sales as police officers because they deal with people the right way every fucking day for a living. But as we go through this, so we hear the sirens in the background blurring, right? He's being treated like he just raped fucking, 5 women, and they've got him now and they want to get him out of the car. He is a hardened criminal. That's what the backup officers think. They don't know. This is where I'm headed with this, and I want you to look at something I missed over, that McNeil came so close from being killed, by being murdered by the police, and I didn't even see it. The responding officers are flooring it. They're screaming. 5 of them are responding, and their adrenaline is dumped because all they know is they have a resistor. Somebody is failing to comply. They have no fucking clue why, because this fucking hillbilly Jim Butterball didn't go up on the mic and say, yeah, he just didn't have his headlights on and he's asking for a supervisor. What did he say? He said he locked himself in the car. He's not complying. If the terminology was a little bit different, this would have changed. I blame the police. The police need to be held accountable. He could have said, driver shut himself in the door. He's asking for a supervisor. He wants to know why I'm stopping him. Float me another. We need to have a conversation with him. But the way he said it now has the cavalry showing up as if this guy got gunfire on him.
Yes. Correct. Huh? Okay. So what did he ask for when he I guess talked to you?
When he pulled me over,
yeah.
Open my door because my window don't work. Right?
Okay.
And then I said, so what I did wrong?
Yeah.
He said, Well, for one,
the more you watch this, the more you see they could not wait to get their hands on him. They could not wait to punish him. This was pride.
your headlights are off under this weather. I'm like,
Okay.
there's multiple people headlights.
Okay, that's still a legitimate reason to pull somebody over.
There's no rain.
It doesn't matter. You're still required to have headlights on. Huh? Yeah, when you step out of the car, I will. Huh? All right.
There's 2 more squad cars that show up. You got 5 on scene right now, all for, again, everyone wants to say, well, he was resisting. He should have just complied. Again, it's your fault as parents. You did not teach your children this. You taught your children to challenge everything. So now you're expecting this young man's brain to stop and go, fuck. All right, well, we need to start interviewing teachers. And we need to ask teachers, how many of you are in your classroom allowed to say, shut up and do your work? Or do they have to spend, how stressful are these teachers in America right now who can't successfully pass their grade levels because the kids ask them all the time, why? This is this generation. We did this to them. I didn't have kids, thank God. You did this to them, and now all of a sudden you expect them to just, at the moment's hat, completely undo their entire existence of how they operate in life because a cop fucking said so.
For it.
Exit the vehicle now! Exit the vehicle! Show me your hands.
Here.
33 at 16.1 hours.
Right there. Right above my head. I didn't see that. This man didn't have his headlights on, was not resisting. He was passively resisting. He wasn't fighting with them. And there's a cop above me who, gangster style, has his pistol pointed right at McNeil's head. Right there. I didn't see that. McNeil was closer to being murdered by the police than any of us knew. And all it would have taken is that little phrase, I saw furtive movement. Little jerk or whatever. I want you to think about this as you're looking at this cop above my head right here who has his gun, gangster style, pointed at McNeil's face. McNeil's hands are up. Now we see why. Now we see why he was like this, because he saw a fucking gun pointed at his face because he was asking questions. And we want to back the blue. You can't. You cannot do this. You cannot support the police on this at all. And if they didn't have body cameras, if this was Grady Judd's county or any other county in the nation who does not have body cameras still in 2025, they could have murdered him and said he reached for a knife. And there would have been a knife on the floor. I didn't see this. And I saw it today and my fucking stomach dropped. And I don't know where policing is today. This would have never happened in my day as cops. Every cop I worked with, there's not one of us who would have pounded the shit out of him while yelling, stop fighting. If it got that far, and me, no one could talk people into handcuffs better than I do. I've been given awards for it. I've had other cops text me years later and say, hey, you remember that suicidal subject we dealt with who wanted to fucking jump in front of a train that I couldn't convince to go to the hospital, but you did? 100%. Remember when we had fucking 5 of us all trying to take that giant Russian dude into handcuffs because he was suicidal in his backyard? But you talked him into handcuffs. Talking people into handcuffs is the easiest fucking thing in the world. You got to be a human. And you have to impose influence on them. You have to take control by being soft and giving a semblance of hope in the outcome of this, not authority. If you need to teach a class, any department, right there, 708-982-0974. No one talks people into handcuffs better than I do. But here you are. 5 people show up. My generation of cops wouldn't have done this. We would not have sat there. We would have busted the window if that was the case. We would have reached in, grabbed a seatbelt, pulled him out, pressed him against the car, put him in the handcuffs. There you go. We never would have punished him. This was a pride issue, and these cops were looking to kill him. Based on what? Based on the lie or the attitude, because it wasn't a lie. I'll correct myself on that one. The first fat disheveled, pig-looking cop who doesn't even know what a razor or a brush for his hair is, chose which direction to go. Yeah, he locked himself in the car instead of, I would like a and it's even, I need a supervisor over here versus, can I get a supervisor over here? Driver has some questions about the stop. So many ways you could have worded this. This is the fault of the police. This is. I don't support anymore in America because I said so with the police, because that's the evolution of the people that we've had. And the only way to get back is to remove child protective services and DCFS and everything else, family services, out of the lives of the parents, and let the parents raise their kids the way they're supposed to. Children need physical discipline. It protects them from danger. Every cop in America in the last 20 years knows exactly what it's like to show up to a call. And you've got mom and dad. I don't know what to do. Jane just told me to go fuck myself when I told her to go clean the room. There's nothing I can do for you. You let this get out of hand. But you expect now the police to say, get out of the fucking car, and somebody just to get out of the car. You have developed and hardwired into their brains that they can question everything. And at the same note, you are threatening to kill them if they don't. This is fucked up. I didn't notice this the other day. And we need to have a serious conversation. The laws need to change, these bullshit traffic laws. If you're pulling somebody over for all equipment violations, as far as I'm concerned, and I know a lot of people are going to think this is extremely unpopular because you caught warrants and drugs and guns and rapists and child abductors all because their license plate was out. But I'm at the point right now, the only way to get back with the American public and getting trust back them is if you're going to stop motor vehicles for accident prevention, then you can't ask for driver's licenses. You can't. If you're pulling somebody over because it's inclement weather and it is dangerous for them to drive without their headlights on, then you need to say, turn your headlights on, have a great day, and get back in your squad and walk away. Your job is done. You did your job. Or the public needs to know that the vehicle code and the laws in your state are specifically designed for cops to find a way into your cars to find other crimes. That needs to be held at massive rallies and have people across the nation go, the police are not there to stop you, to help you. They are there to stop, to determine whether or not you are a criminal. We need to stop lying to the public. I saw this the other day. I'm disgusted over it. But again, for those of you who are supporting the police and you are so pissed at McNeil because he didn't comply, I hope this happens to you. I hope you raised a child who questions authority because you taught them to, and they face the barrel of a gun and they shit their pants on the call because mom and dad didn't raise me right, but you back the blue and you think that everybody should just comply with the police no matter what, without any instruction, any justification, any conversation whatsoever. And if your child moves the slightest bit to the right because they're flinching at glass breaking in and they get a bullet in the fucking face, it's lawfully justified because it was furtive movement. This is where we're at in America, and I don't support this whatsoever. We need a massive change. This needs to be changed. I support law enforcement. I do not support the police. I don't. The system is broken, and right now we have far too many great cops who are leaving in drones because they're droves because they're tired of the TikTok influencer that's allowed to do what they're doing on the job. They're tired of the feminine diversity hires that are coming on that cannot do anything, but the command staff is so fucking terrified of disciplining them, and they want to sleep with them, and they're afraid of lawsuits, and they're afraid of everything, and it's a recruiting method. This man almost got murdered by the police, much, much closer than we thought I didn't see this. And here you go. Because McNeil had his headlights off, and because his generation requires answers to questions that allow him to process the right aspect of what he chooses to do next, He almost got shot in the fucking face by the same blue line that you support. Go ahead if you support the police. I triple fucking dog dare you to argue with me in the comment section and tell me how I'm wrong, because I'm not. This is not the job I signed up to do. This is not the oath I swore to. Thank God I'm out of this profession. But there's many of you who are still in this profession who you had better start opening your fucking mouths and saying something, because right now, you, this current state of policing and the support it's getting, you are the enemy of the people. You are. There's no way around it. If you support what happened, if you are dying on the hill in my comment section, on my Facebook or my Instagram saying, well, he should have just complied. Well, it's a lawful reason. You're the enemy. You are the enemy. You're a domestic terrorist. You need to be able to say, yeah, it's kind of fucking bullshit how I can speed all over the place, drive without my headlights on, no seatbelt on, speed whenever I want to, text and drive. But I can pull people over the same shit. And yeah, I would not have pulled him over for not wearing his headlights on, because 50,000 of the cars on the road that day, including my own, didn't have their headlights on. So hypocrisy is number one. Number two, he wasn't resisting. He was, now the definition, yeah, he was. Yeah, he was. What was he doing? He was asking for clarification. Asking for clarification. Very simple. And maybe if you had taken 20 minutes to do so, like you do with negotiations and everywhere else, maybe this would have gone a lot differently. He would have gone, yeah, I got weed in my pocket. Be like, dude, it's no fucking big deal. There's a sewer right to give it to me. Right there. Throw it out. I have discretion. You suspended license? How far are you from home? You're 5 minutes from. I'm going to follow you fucking home. Do not let me catch you driving again. I'm going to follow you home, park your fucking car, go to the DMV in the morning. Do not, if I see you driving again, I will arrest you. There's so many other ways this could have been handled. And to guys like Officer Tatum, who their living now is to make sure they live, breathe, and die on the conservative cock, and make sure that they are seen as the voice simply because they're the token black of American law enforcement, you need to fucking choose one side you're on. Are you on the side of the police or are you side on the Constitution? I'm apolitical. Both sides fucking suck. I'm not liberal and I'm not conservative. I can't stand either side. I'm on the side of the Constitution and the side of we the people. And I will tell you when the cops do something abhorrently wrong. And they did. I'm glad this kid's alive. I hope this case changes law enforcement. And I hope to God cops see this shit and go, man, I didn't even fucking think of this. And it's going to take you, the Blue Line supporter, and the police officer to swallow your fucking pride for 2 minutes and go, I didn't realize this. I didn't know that. I didn't even think about that because it's cultural and it's a different generation. That's it. McNeil almost lost his life and a lot of us didn't even fucking see it in the first place. It's a damn shame.